In this video, I want to share some important questions for interview. How we create user-defined thread in Java? That is the first question you always face. You just remember one thing, when anybody asks you the questions on Java sections, they always giving the priority to, that is, threading part. What actually the basic question is how we create the user-defined thread in Java. Now, I'll just show you, there are two different ways are there to create a user-defined thread. I just show you the first way, how we create user-defined thread. Now, check. I write here, that is test1.java. Simple code I write. I show you that how we create user-defined thread. That is the first question you face. Now, here you see, I just write here, that is how we create the thread. Now, I declare a class, public class, fine. I just declare the class name is test1, fine. You just remember one thing, when I create a thread, either my class inherit from the thread class or my class inherit from runnable interface. So I write here implements, that is runnable. So here you see, you declare a class and that class inherit from which interface? That is runnable. You remember one thing, runnable is the interface present in java.lang package. And runnable interface having only one method. What is that? Public abstract void run. Run is the method. That is, this is the method available in which interface? Runnable interface. So when my class inherit from the runnable interface, I am bound to override only one method, this method, that is run. So what is my next job? You know that as runnable is an interface, you never create the object of runnable interface. But you know that I'm unable to create the object of the runnable interface, but I can create the object of the child class. Who is the child class here? Test1. When I create the object of the test1, then that object is called as runnable object. I just move to the next part, that is public find static void main. But I pass here string args. We just enter into the main. You know that execution starts from the main block here. Here what I did, I just write test1 is equal to, that is new test1. Now this object is called as runnable object because runnable is an interface. I never create the object of the runnable interface, but I can create the object of its child class. When I create the object of the child class, that object is called as a runnable object. What is my next job? I just move to the next point. See here, I write here thread t1 is equal to new thread, fine. I just write here, that is tt, fine, that is a runnable object, come. I give the name of the thread. Here I write first. Now see, I create my first thread. Here you see, this is the first thread I create. Thread class object means it is a thread. Now I just write thread t2 is equal to new thread. But I pass here tt comma. I just give the name of the thread is second. So it is my second thread, fine. These are called as user-defined thread. I create the thread object means that is a thread in Java. Now I just write thread t3 is equal to, that is new thread. I just write tt comma. I just write here, that is third. Now, what is my next job? How many thread I create here? See, I create my third thread. So fine, these threads are called as user-defined thread in Java. So how many user-defined thread I create? I create 3 user-defined thread. First line, I create a runnable object. Then second line, I create a thread. Third line, I create a thread. Fourth line, I create another thread. But after constructing the thread not got the life. You have to give the life to the thread. You can give the life to the thread by calling which method? Start. T2.start. Fine. Here you see. What is my next job? That is T3 dot. That is start. So after calling the start method, I give the life to all the thread. Thread 1 got the life, thread 2 got the life, thread 3 got the life. Now all the threads are eligible to run. But when the threads are eligible to run, which thread is first enter into the running state? That is not decided by me. That is decided by whom? Thread scheduler. Now thread scheduler always decide which thread will run first. Now when my class inherit from the runnable interface, I just use the annotation override. I'm bound to override public void, that is run. I just use here. Fine. What's my next job is? I want to see which thread is first running. Now here you see system.out.println. Fine. I just write that is running thread name is. Try to understand. I'm not called the run method. 3 threads are eligible to run. But which thread will first run, that is decided by thread scheduler. Because at a time all the 3 threads are not enter into the running state. It is decided by thread scheduler. So if the first thread enter into the running state, how I guess it? By thread dot current thread. Listen, current thread is a static method available in the thread class. As it is a static method, it is called by class name. Thread.current thread returns me the object of currently running thread. There are 3 threads are eligible to run. Thread 1, thread 2, thread 3. Out of the 3 threads, anyone can enter into running state as per the priority basis. Now after that, I just write here, that is dot get name. If it is the first thread is running first, then get name returns me the name of the thread is first. If the second thread enter into the running state, then fine. The get name returns me the name of the thread is second. If it is the third thread, then get name returns me further. The thread name is third. But after that, I want to block that thread for some specified period of time. You know that you have to use a method that is thread.slip. Listen, when I write thread.slip, if the running thread name is first, then take an example. If the running thread name is first, then that thread blocked for how many seconds? 1000 millisecond means 1 second. That thread is blocked. You know that what is the advantage of multi-threading? When one thread is blocked, other threads are not waited. They are entering into the running state. That makes the CPU time busy, so it makes the execution faster. Now, slip method throws one exception. What the exception is? Interrupted. Fine. That is interrupted exception. That is I. You know that end of this block. After that is when one fast thread is blocked. Take an example. That is the first running thread is fast. When the first thread is blocked, immediately it calls the second thread. Now second thread print the name, then it is blocked. Then it call the third thread. Third thread print the statement and blocked. After that, after 1 second time interval, all enter into the that is ready to run state. When they enter into the ready to run state, and after that another time it is rescheduled. Which thread will first run? That is decided by thread scheduler. Now here you see, I just write here system.out.println. Fine. Here I just write dead thread name is fine. You know that after 1 second time interval is over, that is what that thread job is over. When the thread job is over, that thread is entering to its state, dead state. Now here you see thread dot find, that is the current thread, that is dot get name. You know that after 1 second time interval, it specifies what is the name of the dead thread. So that's all about the concept of what? Multi-threading. Here you tell how many threads I create. I create 3 threads. How you give the life to the thread? By calling which method? Start. Once the thread got the life means they enter into his state, running state. At a time 3 threads not enter into running state. Which thread will fast run? That is decided by thread scheduler. Now that is after the job is over. That is their 1 second time interval is over. One by one, all the thread enter into what? Dead state. Now see what I did. I just show you, that is fine compile the code. Here you check, I just move to the next area, that is Java. Here you see, I write here, that is test one. Fine, check here. Here what happens, the second thread is first, that is what running, then third thread, then first thread. Now after the 1 second time interval is over, the third thread is first thread, then second thread, then first thread. So this is the way you can tell that, sir, I can create the user defined thread in 2 ways. The first way is by inheriting from which interface? By inheriting from runnable interface. I just elaborate how it is possible that you can create a thread by inheriting which interface? By inheriting runnable interface. Thank you. This is the first question. If you face, you answer it like this.